Language seems to mean nothing these days, and what do I know? I'm not a biologist. Here to discuss this and more, I have Alex Stein, host of Primetime with Alex Stein here on Blaze TV, and their first time on the program, we've got Royce Lopez, and he just goes by Mersh.
Just Mersh.
Just Mersh.
Mike Sheely, but Mersh is how they know him, and they are the hosts of the Revenge of the Cis podcast. We're happy to have you guys here.
And I want to say this, I have to cut off the program.
Oh my gosh.
We agree with everything the CDC says. We love Dr. Fauci, and the vaccine is the most safe and effective drug ever created. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I could hear all of you guys audibly reacting to the absurdity that Karine Jean-Pierre just said. So I want to give you guys a chance to share your thoughts. Alex, you want to?
I'll just start off with they can't even put a number on it. I mean, like you said, there's so many laws. You can't get a tattoo. You can't join the military. You can't vote. It's basic numbers. Just put a number, but they don't want to put a number on it.
Right.
And she just gave the longest non-answer I've ever heard. So, I mean, it's just an indication that they want more trans kids and they want to create legislation that gets more access for youth to have gender reassignment or hormone therapy. And I think it's pretty obvious that's their stance.
Yeah, Royce.
I love that they retconned everything into anything that's pro-trans. If they go, well, it's pro. How come everything pro-trans is anti-kid? Like it's the same like pro-choice, pro-life thing. That's you're messing with words. No, it's really simple. When I grew up, there was always people that were trans. I remember them, and we laughed at them because it's just funny. And I don't care, Monty Python, people in the wigs. It's funny, but that's fine. But we had an understanding, like, look, I don't care. Just leave me alone. But now it's like when press secretaries shouldn't be talking about people changing their sex in any circumstance like it's Martin Luther King or the civil rights.
Yeah.
Right, they really are trying to make this the new civil rights.
Right, but the point is the civil rights had an end where it was like, okay, this is what we want equality. The problem with the trans movement and a lot of movements like this now, once they become monetized, there's no need to end it because then the cash flow stops. You can't buy $14 million mansions or be Dylan Mulvaney and be in the White House, you know?
Yeah, it is fascinating too because when you ask them, Mersh, you ask them, like, what rights are you seeking that you don't already have? They never seem to have an answer for that.
Yeah, well, it's the right to groom kids, let's be honest. The civil rights movement took a huge leap from, hey, why don't you let black people own houses to let us mutilate your child and groom him and teach him sex. So, but I think, I'm not trying to be a contrarian here. I think you guys are being a little tough on KJP. She does have a good point in that trans people are brave because there's nothing braver than mutilating your entire body for a dopamine rush and 15 minutes of fame.
And TikTok followers and TikTok followers.
That's pretty brave. I wouldn't do it, It's just like I wouldn't join the Marines, and I probably would never, cut things off of me either. So I don't know, man. It's pretty brave.
Okay, so when you don't have breasts, you don't need a sports bra. And when you don't have breasts, I feel like you probably are not a good representation to sell sports bras to women.
Well, here's something that we've talked about on our show a bunch of times. And with Dylan is specifically the weirdest thing. Normally when people transition, the first thing they get done is the boobs because it's the easiest one. It just is the easiest one. But with him, for whatever reason, he went and he got the bottom surgery first. And then he went and he shaved down his jaw like it was a piece of Parmesan cheese. And it's like, no, I'm a girl. But he hasn't done the boobs yet. And at first, we've been racking our brains going, it doesn't make any sense. Unless the reason is you want to look like a 12-year-old girl, which is what
that's a good point.
Because it's not my journey into womanhood; it's my journey into girlhood, which is weird, right?
We just talked about that verbiage the other day and how weird it was because you see the other videos of him like with little girl. Like material, little
Eloise or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it is very weird. But one thing that he also has not done, I might add, is he clearly is not taking hormones. I would be shocked if he was taking estrogen. I'm going to play a video of him reacting to like, oh, I haven't been on social media lately because it's just been going through a lot with all of the reactions to my partnerships. But in that video, you'll notice when he tips his head up, I'm like, that is a beard. That is a beard. It's so weird. All right, let's watch that.
Hi, how are you? I haven't been making as many videos. There's been a lot going on.
Right?
And I was feeling a little down today, but I was walking on the sidewalk in New York, and this garbage truck drives by me, and the garbage man leans out of the truck and goes, "Hello, Dylan." I went, "Hello." It was the most unexpected person, and it gave me the courage to keep going. And I love you. And if you're that man that's watching this right now, you really made my day. And I especially love you. Okay.
Well, I have to say this. Don't little kids love the garbage truck and garbage man too? Isn't that like a little kid thing? Kinda?
Probably, yeah.
I'm just saying. I feel like they like big trucks. That is very.
Probably are really into trains and stuff.
Or some, that's what I'm saying. Kids are like.
I mean, but it's the 5 o'clock. By the way, I did see who was what's her name from the Simcast? She had a really funny joke. Chrissy Mayer. There's a really funny joke about the Bud Light thing. It killed me. She posted him dealing with the Bud Light, and it says it's 5 o'clock shadow somewhere, and that killed me.
I've seen other photos of Dylan Mulvaney before where it's like coming all in, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you see his Price is Right? Did you see?
Yes,
That
yes.
was wild because it's like you've always wanted attention, and it's just how far would you go? Like back in the day when we were younger, people like there's a lizard guy that would split his tongue in half and put the black in his eyes, and it's like, oh, there's a freak, and you're like, this is just a new form of that. But the difference is, I used to be able to make fun of that guy. Now I'll get arrested in certain states if I do the same thing, and it's like, look, you do whatever you want. But you have a 5 o'clock show. And by the way, that was a made-up story. That didn't happen. That never happened. There was no garbage man.
That's okay. That's what I was going to ask. I don't think it happened either.
Also, like in case you're one of the people that watches me, I don't think a New York City garbage man is like, finally home after a tough day. I'm gonna watch some Dylan Mulvaney. I doubt it.
I'm really big into the LGBTQI2 spirit. You know, after a long day of throwing garbage out, I go watch The View, to watch Drew Barrymore get on her knees and go, this Dylan Mulvaney, dude. I've turned it around. Because now the problem is I go, you know what? This is great. Men are winning again. Men are on top again. And this is what you wanted, ladies.
Dominating and everything.
And it's the patriarchy.
Liberal white women literally carried the flag for this. It's like, leave them alone. And now you're getting blown out in sports. And I'm laughing going like, you're doing this to yourselves.
Yeah.
You broke the glass ceiling and then shoved the shards in your eyes. I'm like, why are you doing this? So it's kind of...
And you called us bigots for years when we were going, you don't want this.
Right.
And they're like, no, we're fighting for their... Okay, but I'm telling you, you're going to regret this.
Yeah.
Like, no, what do I know?
Yeah. So then I want to ask you, there's the latest controversy is Jack Daniels now. Because Jack Daniels, so I want to be clear, this was a marketing campaign from Jack Daniels that resurfaced. So it was done in 2021 during Pride Month. But this is drag queens partnering with Jack Daniels. Here's part of that ad watch. So my question is...
Why?
Yes. But also, when we go out, I order a Jack and Diet, right?
Yeah.
Do they get a pass because this was done in 2021? But I still feel like they were kind of groomy in 2021.
Well, none of them can pass. Let's start with that. So, but they're not passing.
Right.
But no, I
feel like this is so gross, and now I'm like, God, do I need to stop drinking Jack Daniels?
I said this today. So
Head over to the dark side. Start drinking Irish whiskey.
you know.
Okay.
That's the way to go, right?
I mean,
there.
I will. Do they promote this?
Oh no, they're super misogynistic.
I love it. I'm in.
They're like super bizarre. No, but the problem is, the thing with boycotts is, I mean, in theory it sounds great, but the reality is, here's what's going to happen. Someone's going to walk into a bar and be like, can I have a Bud Light? Can I have a Miller Lite? No, we only have Bud Light. All right, that's fine. That's the real world. And I know, I'm not saying people, support what you want, but the reality is, just like we say to the left, it's the truth. The Twitter's not the real world. People are going to go out. Listen, I'm not going to have a Budweiser. Order one of the other 50 beers they own, because that's the problem. That's the other issue. When 3 companies run the world, you can't boycott everything. Like somebody said it today on Twitter. It's like, if Monsanto just decided to go super woke, you're not going to eat bread?
Yeah. Right.
And that's the real problem. The real problem isn't what boycotting. The real problem is, why do we let it get this way? It got real bad real quick when everyone controls. If we all thought free market, which is great, but then now it's just the government's working with all the free market, and there's no free market anymore. It's like, you're doing this, or you're not going to have a bank, and that's it.
Free market doesn't work when like 7 companies own everything now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not really free market, actually.
Yeah.
So this is wild to me, guys. Donald Trump, speaking from, we covered the speech, of course, speaking from Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday, the first time since he had been arrested. And ABC News, in their broadcast, blurred out his podium that said to text Trump, like to get official campaign notifications. They blurred out the text number so that you couldn't text and find out more. Watch.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen.
This is the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Are they doing it on purpose? Because either these people are stupid, which is possible, or I don't know what's happening, because the first thing, you just gave it more exposure. They always do this all the time. Because now people, I know that most people probably ignore that, but now people that were watching are like, why would they
Why
go
are
to
they
Twitter
pouring it out? Yep.
and then it's trending
Yep.
and then more people are going to give money. So it's like, why are you doing this? I think it's because they need Trump to be in there because I think that Trump's the villain, right? He's a super villain to them. So they need the guy that they've already built entire dossiers and everything against. So it's like, that's the only reason because I don't understand nothing they're doing. He's just going to be photoshopped on like another rap album. 4chan's going to think it's funny and he's going to win again.
Well, I mean, there is an alternative. They could just be that stupid.
That's what I said. They could also just be.
Yeah, I do think that they could just be that stupid. And just for clarification, just to set the record straight, this was Joe Biden's podium broadcast by ABC in 2020, where you can clearly see his text message. Yeah, there it is. So.
Yeah, but if you text that to just sign you up to Ben & Jerry's Flavor of the Month Club, it's a little different.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, you're right, though. People are just going to get curious now. Most Americans are just going to see blurred out thing and be like, I bet there's boobs under there. And then
That's
they're gonna
usually
try
what
to look them
happens.
up.
Literally,
you
they're
know?
like,
And
what
they're
is-
gonna
what is it, a
no, but
penis?
Some Trump stuff, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
So I want to switch over to RFK. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Has filed to run for president as a Democrat. Now, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this because I have seen a lot of conservatives very interested in this because of his position on medical freedom, and because medical freedom has been something that I think a lot of conservatives have really reconsidered since COVID. It's kind of, I always said, the silver lining of COVID will be that people will be awoken to the medical industrial complex, as Alex calls it, and Big Pharma. And I think that happened. But I am a little concerned that is going to siphon off some Republican votes because, I mean, I don't think that Democrats are not going to vote for him. They hate him. They think he's an anti-vaxxer and they can't stand the guy. So I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if you look at the mainstream media as portraying Robert Kennedy as an anti-vaxxer and just as a conspiracy theorist, so that makes me like him more. So I don't know if he's going to get my vote, but he has my support on his side. I hope he causes some chaos there without causing chaos on our side.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think he'll take votes away because he's not going to get the nomination.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't think that's something
That's
to worry
fair.
about. But I think in terms of the positive stuff with somebody like that is it makes a lot of people, Democrats and Republicans, answer a lot of uncomfortable questions about the medical stuff. Yeah. Because I think if most people would agree that one of Trump's biggest weak spots was still his stance on the vaccine.
Yes.
And that to me is something where it's hard to defend that. And somebody coming in, they're going like, yeah, but you know what? The vaccine is terrible. So into freedom, why do that? That's the biggest, most uncomfortable thing. He's not going to get it because he was painted crazy so long ago.
Right.
That, and I think he's dead right about a lot of
He
stuff.
is. He is. I love
It's
him.
uncomfortable to people how right he is because I always said I apologize to people because, when I was younger, I would laugh at people that wouldn't get their kids vaccinated. But then I said, I was stupid. It's like, obviously, no wonder. Now I know what this feels like. This feels like, wait a second. What are they putting into you? And I think the best thing that's
And it's safe and effective. So.
Safe and effective. And even from when I was a kid, the number of vaccines I got to the number of kids get now is ridiculous. And that's a real thing. I'm not saying don't get the polio vaccine, obviously, but what I am saying is the fact that this vaccine wasn't able to be questioned and the fact that this guy's running on it, I like. Anything that gets more spotlight, regardless of what party they're on the medical, like you said, the medical industrial complex, that to me is more important than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to see him at the debates. He's not, like he said, he's not going to win or get the nomination. But I just want to see him on national television being like, "Yeah, they killed you with this vax. Like they pretty much just ruined an entire generation of people." You know
listen,
what I mean?
we want to just make this very abundantly clear. We love the vaccine, and listen, if I got 3 polio vaccines and I got polio 3 times, I would get a 4th polio vaccine. That's how vaccines work. So we love it. Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
I do. I just will be very interested to see, in the primaries, right? Like you're only voting in one.
Right.
I just don't want Republicans to decide to vote in the Democrat primary just to try to get Kennedy to be the guy because he's not going to be the guy. And all that will do is water down the rest of the votes in the Republican primary.
Yeah, I mean, the Republican primary is
because
2
it's rigged.
people. It's going to be either DeSantis is going to be Trump. I mean, that's about it. And DeSantis, Trump is like, especially after this, they shot him up.
Yeah.
So
yeah. His poll
even if
numbers.
that does happen, I don't really think it'll affect. If the general election really won't affect anything, it's going to be 1 or 2 people basically. Right. And I think if you're a Republican and you seems to be people that are more for the medical freedom now, more DeSantis people. So there is kind of an option, obviously not as hardcore as RFK is, because that guy's, but still, so I think that I'm not too worried about that. I just think it's the point of this for get him on TV and to talk about this and have make people listen to it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Do people actually vote in the Democratic primary anymore after 2016? I wouldn't even bother.
Bernie Sanders.
Like, you know what I mean? I just wouldn't even bother.
I thought the
anymore.
CIA just picks it now.
Yeah, I just thought they pull them like out of a lotto machine.
Well, no, that's not true because my grandma has been dead for about 18 years and she still votes in the Democratic primary.
Vote and die. Vote and die.
That's a dedicated person, right?
Die then vote.
Die then vote.
then vote.
MTV, die and vote. Let's start it. Die and vote campaign.
I'm going to torture you guys a little bit, and I'm going to make you watch a little bit of The View. I'm sorry, but it's just fun for me. Because again, if I have to see it and I have to suffer, I want others to suffer along with me. So in this particular episode, Joy Behar is talking about the Republican Party and that, this is going to be the end of the Republican Party. They're never going to win elections anymore in this country, which I actually agree with because the game is rigged. So when the game is rigged, of course you can't win another election. But she says that the GOP is responsible for school shootings and also tornadoes, apparently. Watch.
They've said it all, but this is the beginning of the end of the Republican Party, as I see it. I don't see that they're going to win in any elections anymore in this country, not national elections. They're on the wrong side. These kids were born in 1997, not 1897, which is where the Republican Party is going. And they're like, hey, whoa, hold up. I don't want to get killed in school. I don't want to, be in the middle of another tornado or whatever the hell's going on in this country. All I hear about are tornadoes all the time. Is that climate change?
It is.
Probably
It is part of climate change.
And they don't want all these. They don't want it. They don't want, and they want their abortion rights just in case.
Yeah,
they want it.
Okay, I'm done with her.
And they're gonna
I'm
do
done.
it.
I'm done with her.
She's a tornado. She's a tornado. I can't. I'm sorry.
Wait, but I'm confused. We need abortion rights in case we're going to be the victim of tornadoes? I didn't understand
Because
her
then the
line of
babies are
reasoning.
going to get stuffed in the tornadoes, dummy. The babies are going to get sucked up and they're going to fling around. Is that what you want?
Yeah, I guess I don't want that. I'd rather the baby be
basically,
killed than one.
train derailments are an everyday thing. It's nothing to worry about. But I haven't seen a tornado before 2019. Is that what we're going?
There was some movie
That's
called
so
Twister.
perplexing. That's so perplexing to me that you heard all of the other cast members when she said it's climate change, right? They're like, yeah, yeah. It's like, you guys don't remember tornadoes existing for literally all time?
I'm sorry. The level of stupid. I mean, the stupid people are always the most sure of themselves, and The View is the perfect
Wait,
example.
I had to be contrarian. Time to
course.
put on the tinfoil hat. There is a technology called cloud seeding. In China, they do this on important politicians' weddings. They might not want their wedding to have rain on it. So there is ways that the military or the government can modify the weather. Now, can they create tornadoes? No, but maybe Joy Behar, she's probably in the Illuminati, drinks the blood of children. Maybe she knows something we don't. Maybe.
Behar's not an Illuminati. They
She's
wouldn't
not?
let her in. No, there's certain people that get in. She's
not in.
Illuminati adjacent.
Whoopi's in. Whoopi Goldberg's in the Illuminati.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
She got to
was
be
in
a fake-
Sister Act too.
Yeah, so you're in Illuminati.
So obviously you're in immediately. No, but look, these people, we watch a few clips all the time because we have to. When we get mad and we know we're going to get mad, but we cannot help ourselves because they're so stupid and they're so sure of themselves. But they go, this has to be tornadoes and kids. The truth of the matter is that I talk to our fan base skews younger because of our show, and there's a lot of Zoomers that send us messages, and they're a lot more based than you think. The problem is you can't see it because you're not allowed to say anything. You have to be quiet.
Yeah, but
that's a good
we
point.
get messages all the time don't worry, man. You're like, all right, there's some cool kids out there. They're like, I can't say anything in school because they're just going to crucify me.
Well, it
That's a really good
used to be a big deal to be a closet homosexual. Now it's a big deal to be a closet conservative.
Oh, yeah.
That's the new closeted thing. It's okay to be homosexual, just you can't be conservative.
Yeah. All right. I want to switch to Disney. So I'm actually very upset about this. Disney is now altering the lyrics in 2 songs in this upcoming remake of The Little Mermaid. So, of course, the song Kiss the Girl, well, they have to change that because the man is forcing himself on that poor mermaid woman.
Well, the thing is, I think the biggest problem is, first off, you have to ask her pronouns. You can't say kiss the girl. How do you know,
that's
man?
true. Kiss
First
the
off,
them.
Let's start with that. And secondly, the consent thing is super fun because, you're romantic. You're working hot and heavy with a girl, and then you always want to be like, excuse me, before we continue. may I please kiss the lady?
no,
They'll
that's
kick
great.
you out of the house. Let me tell you, they'll
Gets
kick
girls
you out. Be
Like,
like,
go right up to
leave.
them. Can I kiss you?
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
Now you,
Why did
you could have if
say
you
that?
didn't ask.
Just do the leaning, and if they do the, you're like, okay, well, hey.
Men have been
Right, I
reading the
shot my
room
shot.
for a long time.
Yes.
And just, ladies, this is nothing new. We understand. If you don't, we get it. Hey, got it. My bad. I messed up. And you move on with your life.
Right.
But now you're going to be on a boat with a mermaid person. By the way, the most important thing in this thing was a mermaid became a person and then lost her voice. The most important thing is the consent in the song. We're in a fantasy world. Why do we try to keep adding real world stuff in the fantasy world? She's friends with a fish and for some reason it's Jamaican crab. So, I mean, come on. Enough. Stop. It's a cartoon.
I feel bad for young men who are growing up now because it's like, how do you date? Like, how do you date?
That's a
The
topic.
dating
That's a
apps.
topic I bang on about a lot because I don't envy young dudes now. because
Yeah.
it's not a lot of depth on that bench out there. You know what I mean?
It's a minefield. It's a minefield.
It really
And
is.
it's so superficial with the dating apps.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do.
Dating is basically just like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, just stepping into rake after rake, just one
Over
after
and
the
in
other.
your face
Yeah,
and in your
that's
face.
dating.
Fascinating.
That's
to
in
watch.
the history. But if you say if you call your friend retard, then all of a sudden you broke a cardinal rule and you go to jail. And it's like, I'm just joking. Like they it's crazy because they've been the ones who banned everything. When I grew up, it was the family councils that were banning music and banning that, and everybody was on their side. Now they're the ones banning everything.
Yeah.
And then they go, hey, maybe we just shouldn't have pornography in schools.
Right.
It's like, really?
Right.
Excuse me, sweaty.
Oh, now you're the word police. What if we want to show little kids penises in books? Why can't we?
Then they turn into Ron Paul libertarians immediately. Then they're like, oh, freedom for it. I'm like, all right, well, pick a lane. you know?
Yeah,
Well, it's the same thing
exactly.
with the parental rights and education bill. He did the same thing, like your book burning, and it's
Yep.
like, no. There were just some books in there that were like for like second graders that are just literally 80% butt sex. Maybe we need to dial that back. Remember, we covered a story a while back where it was like a kindergarten teacher, and they passed the bill, and he's like, I don't know, man. It's just like I don't understand how after like a romantic paddleboarding with my boyfriend over the weekend, I come in. I don't understand if my kids ask like how my weekend was. I can't talk about my gay paddleboarding. And I'm thinking, I'm like, it takes a lot of shoehorning fruit to get a kindergartner to like segue into that for you. I have a feeling it's not the kids going like, how was your gay paddleboarding this weekend? It's them going, so we learning math today? It's like, yeah, I'm just a little tired from the weekend though, And they're like, okay, so we're gonna do math? Yeah, a lot of gay paddleboarding. And it's like, I don't care. I need to learn math or I'm not gonna graduate.
But it's true. And the craziest part is like more people stood up for like getting Common Core out of school than getting like,
Yes.
the groomers out of
Yeah.
school. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So hear me out. Let's ban Common Whore math.
I like it.
That's the bet. See, you mix it together.
Horror math.
Yes,
See, I was
exactly.
thinking, I have a solution for school shootings that if we actually made our public schools under Sharia law and we made it so women couldn't go to school, there'd be 50% less
50%,
targets.
yeah.
So that could reduce it by 50%.
Well-
and does a girl really need to go to school?
Just say give all kids guns.